Like really nice night tonight. Finally, tired of that cold weather. Messing with my head. Had one of those headaches that everybody's been getting. Uh, anyway, I'm putting out just a couple of audio clips that I've gotten. I recorded the other night, but it was pretty short period of time. I wasn't feeling that great, and I got a couple of things that were interesting. One speech that's kind of cool, I think. Um, Anyway, there's some people that know me from a year, 2 years, or whatever, posting on here, and there are other people that are new that don't really know that much about me. They just kind of see some of the stuff I put out. My daughter had a sighting near our home, uh, where I lived, and that kind of opened my eyes. I never even knew about these guys. So anyway, long story short is eventually I started to realize that they were coming around the house, and so I spent yeah roughly from I don't know, about 5 years, 6 years, um, just out, uh, in that property. Uh, in addition to that, I was in the field as well. I had my core area where I was going to, and there was a river. That's the key thing. There was like a kind of a river back behind there that I guess they'd come up from through there, and they'd also come from the other side where there was lakes and stuff over there on the other side and wooded areas. But anyway, nonetheless, we had farms nearby, farm properties, pretty big areas and so forth. So anyway, so that's how I started. But really where I started was going out in the field and just trying to encounter them and do my thing, thinking initially they were animals, and then eventually figuring out they weren't, and making a lot more headway thereafter. And then later it was where I started doing a lot more stuff on my property, and that enabled me to do it pretty much almost every night that I had available, that I was in town and so forth. And so I've spent thousands of hours amongst them, and in different areas as well. And so I've come to know them, their people, and how they act, and how they react, and so forth. And so that's kind of my background of what I did. And I will tell you that although I learned a lot in the field of going out there and doing my thing, I learned quite a bit more, extraordinary amounts more, on my property. Why? Because you have just so many hours more around them. Even when you're not, out there or outside, they're messing with you. You're hearing them, outside at night when you're going to sleep, or they're messing with you when you're about to go to sleep. They're doing big owl sounds right outside of your window, whatever. And people think that's crazy, but you just don't know that experience. And there are people who think that they could just go on a property and these scientists guys. Oh, we could put a scientist on this habituator property and learn so much more and just surpass all these field people who are just rookies, or people who aren't scientific and can't make headway. Well, sorry, I I disagree with you. The Sasquatch allow you to come into their world as they will. Okay. And, the difference in the field people is how you're collecting intelligence and what you're noting out there. All right. And that's the difference. And what I see are the scientific guys, or the guys that just blanket everything out but an ape, even though, they ignore history. They think these Native American Indians, who were bright people that lived out in the woods, in the forests, and knew the forest like the back of their hand, and called these a people. They would know the difference between a people and an animal. They think those guys are just idiots. And now, I go out and I, do my thing, as you've heard. I'll play music or interact or what have you. And my passion is speech, and so that's what I'm trying to do, is gather their speech. Now, I gather a lot of their speech, their language, as you've seen, and they also will speak my language back. This is not unheard of. Again, the Native Americans talked about the Sasquatch speaking their languages back to them, yet having their own languages. Okay, so how they know Spanish, I have my thoughts, and they certainly have answered me and stated things that were not mimicking. Definitely not mimicking, and it is what it is, and so anyway, that's it. And for those guys who keep saying they're Mexican migrant workers, you guys think what you want. That's just stupid, really. But if you want to ask these stupid questions or try to be a smart ass and ask those stupid questions, I'll just think you're a dumb ass and you probably don't know, anything anyway. So it doesn't matter. That's my background. That's what I do. I try to reveal everything to you guys as I go forward, and that's even the quirky stuff, even them singing Hotel California in the background, the chorus thing, crazy ass stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you, there weren't 3 females following me around in that forest singing with me, and if there were, I really wish I would have known. Actually, there were, but they were just hairy. But anyway, so, and that was the second time that had happened. So, anyway, I've just I'm enjoying it. I enjoy all the stuff they do, and this latest thing with the singing is just cool as heck to me. When they bang, when I'm playing my flute or playing my guitar, a lot of times I could hear them hitting stuff. Like trying to do it rhythmically. Although the rhythm isn't that great, that's one thing I will say. I couldn't possibly try to go out there and try to spot a Sasquatch beating a tree, much less shaking a rattle or doing these things. But the corroborative evidence, all the other things that they do before and after that stuff, all indicative of Sasquatch. And in areas where I've seen the Sasquatch in many cases, so I've had Class A's there, so I know they're there. You could deny it all you want, but it is what it is.